Good morning, everyone. It's coming up to my anniversary at First Tin, so I appreciate the opportunity to present to this ITA audience today. Apologies, like Joe not being present. I'm double booked today with AGMs, board meetings, and the like. Conscious of time, so I'll move through this. Right. There's the usual disclaimer, which I just bring to your attention. The picture at the top right doesn't need any introduction to an audience of tin folks. I'm sure that view from MIT back in 2018, I'd say, is pretty prescient. There are three key messages I'd like you to take away today from this presentation. First, I think structural changes continue to drive tin's importance as a critical mineral. Second, meeting the growing needs for the energy and digital changes requires not just new supply, but in the more volatile world we live in, I think new supply in locations that will give manufacturers supply chain security. Third, and the primary focus of this presentation, First Tin's projects are among the most advanced undeveloped tin projects in the world. They do provide supply chain security and meet compliance needs. We're low cost, low capex, and low risk, and we have a large and growing resource base. In recent months, we've strengthened the balance sheet. We've raised £10 million before costs, thereby ensuring that we've got sufficient liquidity to drive the next phase of Taronga's development. Metals X Limited, Australia's largest tin producer, even one of the world's larger tin producers, has become our leading shareholder, which is a major endorsement of our Taronga project and the potential in our assets. Bottom left, Joe alluded to it, despite the share price recovering from the lows at the start of the year, it still looks undervalued given the potential in our assets and our significant resource base. A brief word on the macro environment, as this is well covered by the ITA. Look, tin's been the best performer, I think, across the base metals complex over the course of the year. It's recently dropped back a little, primarily due to shorter-term macroeconomic uncertainties and some mixed signals. Nevertheless, tin's structural story continues to develop in a positive manner, which is key for junior explorers and developers. Demand drivers from the energy transition and the digital transformation remain strong, with a multiplicity of growing uses of tin. On the other hand, primary tin production continues to stagnate, and the pipeline for new projects appears slim, as you can see on the chart. Only a couple of the projects have a DFS today, with the majority at concept, PEA or PFS study level, or still doing their DFS. Now, even if all these projects were delivered, would probably only provide about 35 to 40% of the anticipated medium-term demand growth, so it's hard to argue against a coming supply deficit for tin. So the world clearly needs new tin projects, and at First Tin, we have a large and growing resource base of nearly 310,000 tonnes of contained tin. At Taronga in Australia, we have 138,000 tonnes of contained tin resource, including 52,000 tonnes of proven and probable reserves. At Tellerhäuser in Germany, we've got another 138,600 tonnes of contained tin. That's polymetallic, so there's some magnetite, zinc, silver, and indium credits, as well as some traces of germanium and gallium. Also in Germany, at the nearby Gottesberg deposit, we've got a further 33,000 tonnes of contained tin resource. We've also got various satellite deposits in both these regions. Our flagship project is Taronga. It's one of the most advanced tin projects in the world. The DFS, which was published in May, confirms that Taronga will be highly attractive with low capex, low cost, it's a low tech, it's low risk, therefore, and will have a high margin. The geology has provided us with a large resource base amenable to low cost, low risk bulk open pit mining. The simple mineralogy with a coarse grained cassiterite in narrow quartz veins allows significant grade enhancement using only basic crushing and gravity separation processes. Taronga is in a historic tin mining district in northern New South Wales, and that lowers permitting risk, lowers capex and opex. We own freehold land. We've already received water rights allocations. We've got clearance on native title, and we've got plentiful sunshine for solar energy. Permitting processes are well underway. The scoping report's been submitted. We received the SEARs. We expect to complete the EIS in Q1 next year, and we remain on track for potential permitting approvals later next year. These endowments make for a highly attractive value creation at Taronga. Pre-tax NPV at a tin price of $30,000 is 243 million Aussie dollars. Based on recent work, we see considerable upside from low-hanging fruit. Recovery improvements, conversion of inferred resources brings us to an optimized NPV of 345 million Aussie dollars at the 30,000 US tin price. There's further upside from infill and extension drilling, which would add to mine life and improve the economics even further. And finally, the project's highly leveraged to higher tin prices. For example, at $40,000, there's another 260 million NPV, which will give an upside of 645 million Aussie dollars. Beyond this, as I said before, there's opportunities from satellite deposits in the region, very nearby, and we can also add a fine tin flotation circuit. Since starting this role 12 months ago, I've heard some strange comments about Taronga, especially that the grade is too low. I can assure you that in 35 years in this industry, I've never known a customer to buy grade. Customers buy metal, and the only question is whether you can extract, process, and deliver that metal and make a return. And there are many factors that influence that. For example, is it open pit versus underground? Big difference in staffing and cost. Taronga will have less than 150 people compared to over 300 at typical underground mines. We don't carry the energy costs for underground ventilation, lighting, and water pumping, for example. Mineralogy itself is another factor. Is it coarse? Is it fine? How is it disseminated throughout the ore body? All this impacts processing. Taronga has a coarse mineralogy, typically 1 to 5 millimeter grain size, and it rapidly upgrades with simple gravity processing. No need for ore sorting, no need for multiple floats, and no tin float required at the end. Location is another factor. No capex for building rail or ports. We've got access to an existing quality road network, and we have no excess site security requirements, as is the case in some countries that I've worked in before. As a result, we have a very competitive cost base due to the location and the simple open pit mining and processing. And as you can see here, that translates to a margin of around 50%. Just a few competitive comparisons on the right-hand side. You can see we're close to reported lowest quartile for all-in sustaining costs and cash costs. At these low costs, cash generation should be strong. The geology has provided us with a very large resource base in the simple coarse-grained ore body. Mineralization's wide, continuous, and open. The ore body outcrops along the top of a ridge, resulting in limited tree stripping requirements and a very low strip ratio of 1:1. This enables low cost, low risk, bulk open pit mining with easy grade control. Compared to previous open pit mines I've been associated with, the footprint is also very small, with resultant low haulage distances from mine to waste dump and processing plant. The photo on the left clearly shows the mineralization. There's the coarse cassiterite hosted in the quartz vein within the Hornfels host rock. The black crystals you can see there are the coarse cassiterite grains. As the veins have much lower rock strength than the Hornfels, there is a preferential breakage along the veins during crushing. Just try to run this video. So as the photo on the right-hand side shows, the breakage exposes the softer cassiterite containing material, which then upgrades easily through a simple gravity processing. Won't go through the detail here, but this slide shows the simple processing flow sheet. It's all basic, low-tech kit, which means that CapEx is low, the operational risk is low, and it's inexpensive to run. These basic concentration processes rapidly reduce the volume and increase the grade, and we end up with a pre-concentrate of around 20 to 30,000 tonnes of upgraded to 15 to 20% tin, compared with the 5 million tonnes starting run-of-mine ore. The final sulphide float and dressing facilities, therefore small, and it upgrades the pre-con into around 5,000 to 6,000 tonnes per year of concentrate at greater than 60% contained tin. But that's not all. Taronga is part of a regional tin district. There were 3 major tin districts in northern New South Wales and southern Queensland that we've turned the New England Tin Corridor, as shown in the middle map here. Taronga lies within the historic Emerville Tinfield in the centre of this corridor. The map on the left shows the extensive 550 square kilometre coverage of this area that we have under exploration licences. Soil and rock chip sampling with only minor drilling follow-up has already shown potential for similar mineralisation to Taronga, which, if proven, would enable a longer-term hub and spoke system to be developed around the Taronga processing plant. On the right-hand map, you can see the extent of our exploration licence over another tin district, the Tingha Tinfield, which lies around 80 kilometres southwest from Taronga. Like Taronga, it had extensive alluvial mining for over 100 years, and initial work on this 277 square kilometre area shows it to be an exciting longer-term prospect, potentially on the scale of another Taronga. A few brief comments on the value residing in our German assets. Tellerhäuser has 138,000 tonnes of contained tin resources. It will be a polymetallic mine underground with zinc, silver, copper, indium and magnetite helping to offset the higher costs and the complexity of going underground. Like Taronga, it's part of a historic tin district, for which we also have an exploration licence at the nearby Gottesberg, Breitenbrunn and Augsburg. In the bottom right, you can see the potential from some of our recent drilling results in the area. Although these assets were the foundation of First Tin, today I do not really think we get much valuation credit for them, with the perceived permitting risk in Germany. However, just last month, after 5 years, our nearest neighbour received their permit. So permitting is possible in Germany, and we progress on this attractive asset, which had a PFS option study completed in 21-22. Most of the funding we've received will be allocated to Taronga. It'll be directed towards the final permitting requirements and on the compelling value enhancement opportunities we identified during the DFS, with the goal of increasing the project's NPV to around 400 million Aussie dollars. Activities related to this will include the drilling of numerous in-pit and near-pit targets and continued work on mineral processing test work to confirm the recent excellent recoveries we've been getting. We'll also be evaluating and progressing project financing options. With most of the funds allocated in Australia, the funds allocated to Germany in the next 12 months will primarily be used to support internal activities related to the permitting and related community engagement. So to conclude, we've made significant progress over the last year. The outlook for the tin market remains positive, with tin increasingly recognised as a critical and strategic metal for the energy transition and digital revolution. These conditions present significant opportunities for us with our 2 advanced projects, strategically located in the safe, compliant jurisdictions of Australia and Germany. Taronga's DFS shows an attractive, low capex, low risk, high margin tin mine with significant opportunities to further enhance its value. The graph on the right illustrates the value we're building in our portfolio. The immediate focus is progressing Taronga, with further potential come from the satellite deposits and also on Tellerhäuser. In the longer term, we're building the resource foundations at Tingha and Gottesberg. So with that, I thank you for your attention. Over to you, Freddie.